we're back with 843 TV, and now I'm excited to introduce you to Sheryse DuBose, and I want to make sure I get this right, Historic Neighborhoods Preservation Administrator.
That's correct.
So do tell me the role of this person, of you.
It's so much. The first thing is the importance of preserving the Gullah culture that is prevalent on the island. That's one of the ways my job will help facilitate that preservation. The other is in the historic communities. Historically, people are having difficulty trying to do simple things such as build a home or establish a business on their property because the parcels are so small and so strangely cut. So this is to help people to understand what's in the land management ordinance and how they can place a home on the property or develop a property if they choose to do so. The other issue is heirs property, and that's where you have a lot of shareholders who own a single parcel. And when you have a lot of people owning that one parcel, if someone makes the decision to sell the property, then the whole property can disappear. And that's how the people are disappearing, that's how the culture is disappearing as well because of the heirs property issue. So in my role, I want to work to try to get those property titles cleared so it's only one owner for that property and they can make those decisions.
That's a lot of history to undo. I mean, that's a lot of history to grab and see how we can put it into modern world.
It is.
And there's so many that live here that really don't understand the depth of that rich culture around here. So with the Gullah Geechee Preservation Project, what are some of those recommendations that you're coming upon?
There are 37 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Fortunately, we have narrowed them to the top 13, but the biggest issue that people want to see happen is to create an overlay district. That means in those different historic districts of Gullah people to establish a set of rules where people can develop the property, place a home, because it's so hard under the current regulations to do so because the parcels are so small and it's just been done a certain way for such a long time. And to try to get into the mindset to try to change that gets to be a bit difficult. So that's my role as well. Another big issue is trying to raise money. With the rapid development on Hilton Head Island, the property taxes have gone up because the land values have gone up. So people are unable to pay every year for their property taxes. And the longer you wait, the longer those costs compound. And it's difficult to pay them. So another big issue that people want to tackle is trying to raise money to save these properties. The same as clearing title for heirs property, raising money to do that as well. Other issues in cultural preservation, basic education. That's a huge huge issue, trying to educate people who come here about Gullah people, people who work for the town about Gullah people, and eventually get in our schools. Mitchellville is a very important part of history that gets overlooked.
And we were talking earlier that in recent past year or so, the town's put signage up that identifies these areas, which is really neat. So even tourists coming on, when you come on the island, you see one right away, and that's an important thing, I think, to just identify and start that education process. Say, oh, what is that? I didn't realize. Now, how are you working together with the Art Plan Committee to make these work together on that?
Well, it's very exciting to actually be a part of that. I grew up on Hilton Head, and so I never thought I would actually be a part in facilitating the comprehensive plan where the people get to make the decision as to how it goes. And I'm working with the inclusive group, inclusive and multi-dimensional community group. And we're able to have the voices of other people being heard, such as the Gullah people, the different levels of ability, the different age groups, different genders. So,
Right. That's wonderful. I mean, I'm listening to this whole new world for me because I'm new to the island. And so, what can we do to help?
Well, the good news is that anytime we have any decisions being made, it's open to the public. Just being aware that there is that culture there, being willing to learn that history or listen to people who want to talk about it. When decisions are being made, make sure that everybody is being considered in those decisions.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you grew up on Hilton Head, which is rare to most of us here. So that makes you, fully invested, heart and soul. And I imagine that's part of the reason you wanted to take on this project.
Yes.
Yeah. So going forward, give us an idea again of the timeline. What are we looking to see might happen over the course of how long?
Okay. Well, it started with the recommendations, and they were drafted back in the spring. Those recommendations were finally passed this September, and right now Town Council is looking at the work plan for the top 13 projects. So once that gets passed on the 19th, then we'll be able to start facilitating some of those projects, working with different community groups, working with different organizations, working with staff members to try to get those projects facilitated.
A lot happening, isn't there, Kevin?
I think it's exciting. I just know it's been really joyful to listen to your story and all the good things are happening.
Yes.
And having the partnership together, that's really important too.
Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more 843 TV.